Well, hello again. It's Wednesday, 8 o'clock or just after, and so therefore it must be an Embrace live session again. So welcome, particularly welcome if this is the first time that you're tuning in to our Wednesday live kind of things. You know, we've kind of started this a few weeks ago now, and it was really just an opportunity to connect with people in different ways. Let people who maybe do the church thing get in touch, but actually, more importantly, I think those people who don't do the church thing currently get in touch and find out a little bit more about us and as Embrace Church. But actually, we want to focus not just on Embrace Church, but the church as a whole, the broader church. Okay, because we say quite often there's only one church, but there's lots of different flavours and maybe some have different titles and things like that. Okay, so we are Embrace Church. We're in Darlington. Although we have a family of people kind of gathering together when we can in lots of different ways, obviously via Zoom and other ways as restrictions allow currently. And we're from the Tees Valley all over the place really. So we've got a great mix and so on. And so what we've been doing over these last few weeks really is. And if you haven't already, please check out the other episodes as well, which are available via our Facebook page, or you can even jump across to our YouTube channel as well there to kind of catch up when it suits you, really. And so what we're trying to do is we're doing this kind of series of what we're calling our kind of My Story. And really that's about people kind of sharing, really, why they've suddenly become, why they've, made a decision to become a Christian, all right, to kind of dedicate their lives to following Jesus, and what the circumstances were around that, and what kind of led up to that, why did they make that decision, and then how's life been since then, so it's an opportunity really just to kind of get to know people a little bit better. Obviously we want to find out a bit what's happening in life and broader things as well. And, but opportunity for you, so please do this. We love this to make these sessions interactive. We don't just want you sat there on your screen, wherever you are, taking the time out from watching Italy, Switzerland tonight. We want, doing both even. Multitasking is always good. So we want you to actually... ask us some questions and things like that and comment as we go through. We want to make it nice and interactive. Now, you might have heard a little bit of a giggle and a laugh in between there because I've got Paul and Claire. I'm looking on my monitor over here and they're actually, we can hear them. We can't see them at the moment. So, they need to be very careful in what they're saying, which is a good job. I should have really warned them that they actually audio is live, really. They're now a little bit mortified, I can see on camera, but that's all right. We love the comedy value in these kind of situations. It's great. And so... it's great, that people are joining in. So just quick hello to Alan and Mike and Liz. Thanks for tuning in. I can see Philip has just joined us as well. Come on, Wales is obviously very happy about that result earlier on. Okay. You're not Welsh, are you, Philip? Let us know. And so tonight we're going to continue with this My Story series. And we've got the amazing Claire and Paul who I've referenced earlier. The ones who giggle in the background. And I can see already... I don't know if you can see these comments already, Paul and Claire, but, Paul, it's a bit harsh because I have a similar affliction, really, but we can see that somebody, and it's not Embrace Church, actually, already has said that you've got a face for radio, so we'll see that in a moment, really, so feel free to kind of comment back and so on, there you go. I like the way that actually Paul and I got the similar hairdressers, and we've styled our hair for this evening, and things like that, so he's obviously clearly a man of style. All right, let me introduce them. Let me put them on screen then, and we shall see them together. There we go. All right. Can we just clarify straight away which one's Paul, which one's Claire?
Claire.
Yeah, good. Good. Thank you. Good stuff. All right. I'm just going to check the audio levels that we can hear. All right. So I like to get this question out of the way quite early on. Otherwise, it'd be quite an awkward session, really. Let me just double check with you both. Are you are you Christians? Have you made a decision? Have you made a decision to follow Jesus? Are you one of these God botherers?
Yes.
You can speak at this point. That's all right. Okay. All right. That's fine. I might just kind of just have a little click on and just try and adjust the camera a little bit as well so we can go into this because you seem to have kind of parted from we went before the show went live. You haven't fallen out, have you? It's not going to be quite awkward on screen or something, is it?
No.
Phew, that's a relief. Okay. So... Just again, it's great that people are joining in. So hi Jill, hi Sally, thanks for joining us. Hi Margaret again. All right. So again, it's great that people are joining in each week. We do try and do these at 8:00 every Wednesday night. And we got different series. We're going to kind of cover with a different series in a few weeks, but I'll tell you more about that a little bit later on. So, Paul and Claire, we are looking forward to hearing your stories really about when. What the circumstances were. Thank you for confirming that you were actually, one of these Jesus people. And, we were very interested to know why that's the case. But we don't want to get there too quickly, all right? So the way we've been doing it is these three questions, really, we're asking people. And that is, firstly, what was life like before? All right? So it may be, again, depending on your story, you might want to mention how, maybe like growing up a little bit, just put kind of things into context. Of course, there's two of you, so just like Alan and Tony did when it was their turn, we need to know the circumstances that you got together, all right? Because we need to, and how romantic Paul was and all of that kind of thing, all right? Because he looks like a bit of a romantic kind of chap. Is that right, Claire?
Yeah.
Yeah, that didn't sound convincing at all. So, listen, those of you who are tuning in, any romance tips and things like that, keep it clean, though, people. For Paul, and I'll be noting them down as well. Please feel free to comment. Because Claire clearly needs her man to try a little bit harder in some ways. All right. What was life like before, and then. We'll do it in stages, I think. We said this just before we came on air, really. We'll do it in stages, so we'll do that, obviously, rather than one of you tell your whole story, then the other, we'll do it in stages for you both, and I'll kind of chip in. And obviously, we're hoping from people's comments that we get, some people kind of asking questions as we go along. And we're always very conscious of, if you've been doing the church thing for a while, like I have, okay, we can fall into this churchy speak. All right, so you're kind of using words that normal people don't use in everyday kind of discussions, really. So if we fall into that trap, I'm going to interrupt you, or if I say it, you interrupt me, or whatever, because actually it's important that we don't start talking in language and people go, what on earth does that mean? All right, because so you may well be joining us and not do the church thing. We'd love to hear from you. We'd love to, we're not going to bash a Bible over your head and things like that. We'd just love to kind of just contact with you, really, and where we can, we want to do that safely, of course, face to face. So please feel free to kind of comment, question publicly, or you can, direct messages in via the Facebook page or YouTube or whatever you want to do that. Okay. And then, so once we get to the point where you make a decision, then it's about what life has been like since. And of course, is it fair to say that life has, since you became a Christian, has been perfect and you just, living the dream? And life is just so easy and things like that. Is that a true reflection?
No.
All right, okay, for this interview to work, okay, you two, really what I'm going to insist is a little bit more than just a yes or a no answer. Otherwise, it's just me. All right, so, but I know that was a very closed kind of question anyway, really. I'll try and ask open questions to give you opportunity, all right? And I'm not just going to sit here and take the mick out of you both all night. I could do that because I do that very well, all right? But I mean, actually, on a personal note, I've known you for that long, really. I've actually never met you in person. I've just met you on screens, really, which is as we've been doing the church thing via Zoom. And I'm looking forward to the day when I can actually stand physically in front of you and admire Paul's T-shirts that I admire each week on a Sunday, because he has good taste. Okay, clearly in hairstyles, okay, but also in his dress sense. And I'm sorry, Claire, if I'm just giving Paul a little bit too much kind of focus. This really, you look lovely as well. All right, okay. Just it feels a bit awkward now, as if I'm no. Anyway, so anyway, don't forget about those tips, please, for Paul in terms of romance and things like that. Yeah, and I'm just going to post that comment on there. Alan Fraser, there we go. I don't know who Alan Taylor is. Sorry about that. Alan Fraser, never met in person. Sign of the times, and Philip has always got some good advice. So they're, plead the Fifth Amendment, mate. Just keep quiet. All right. Okay. And Alan seems to be your biggest fan. So, they're even nicer in the reels. Look at how down with the kids Alan is tonight, right? Okay. I don't know whether he's been watching some, East End, whatever, sitcom, but I've never heard any kids talk like that in Teesside anyway. But and I am a teacher. But there you go. Right. Okay. So let's start with that kind of question. What was life like before? I tell you what. What do you do? What tell us about yourselves a little bit briefly? What do you do? How long have you known each other? Are you married? All that kind of stuff. Whatever. Who's going to go first? Go on. Don't just look at each other awkwardly. Right,
Well,
I've talked about
I'm
Paul
Claire.
too much. Come on, Claire, let's hear from you. Come on.
Well, it's always an icebreaker and a good icebreaker when people meet me because they discover my first name is actually Samantha. So, but I go by Claire because that's what my parents have always called me.
Which caused problems when we first started going out because I was telling people she's called Claire, and on Facebook it comes up Samantha. They were going, "I've got what's going on here."
Is there a particular reason why you do that then, Claire? / Samantha?
It's just because they didn't think when I was younger that Claire Samantha Errington at the time sounded right.
So you just want to confuse the out of everybody and just
Yeah.
All right, okay, that's fine.
It worked.
It worked for me for the first few kind of virtual meetings. Okay, so we're gonna go with Claire.
Yeah.
Okay.
Claire.
So it's like the artist formerly known as Samantha, but now is Claire. Are you just going to be a symbol next time we meet you? Just that kind of thing, like the Amazing Prince. God rest his soul. Okay. Right. Okay. So we've established Claire.
Mhm.
Right.
Yep.
Okay. So then you had a bit of problems, obviously, introducing Claire to your friends and family. Then Paul, particularly what you call today, that kind of thing.
Yeah. So someone actually thought I was too timing. They're going, "Oh, you're saying girlfriend's Claire on Facebook? It says Samantha. What's going on?" Which is a little bit. It took some explaining.
I like it. Alter ego. Okay. Yeah. So I mean, what do you do? Are you working? Both of you? What do you do? Kind of. What's life look like daily basis for both of you normally, as normal as we can get at the minute.
So I'm a manager at Holland and Barrett. Currently working in Bishop Auckland.
It's not. Don't get all serious. It's not a job interview. All right. It's not.
No.
Don't get all serious, all right. So it sounds. It's like you like a football in front of the media. Don't go all Jose Mourinho on them. We know you're special. All right. Okay. That's all we're saying. Right. So you're a manager at Holland and Barrett. Is that? It sounds like a Holland and Barrett. Is that like a health food place?
Yes, health.
Yeah,
foods and
that's
wellbeing.
why I don't sound really sure about it because a health food place for me is not a place I frequent. But if we turn up, do we get good deals? Do we get discount?
No, unfortunately not.
Oh, all right then. Okay.
We can't give it to we can't give it to family and friends.
Really?
We've never met this guy, have we?
Now, hang on a minute. Hang on. I mean, last week, Philip was on, obviously, telling us, and he amazingly had a deal for everybody who signed up for his window cleaning service and give them 20% off. We don't even get any discount off you. I tell you what. Okay, we'll go with that. We know you don't make the rules. So you're a manager. Is that right?
I am, yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, what you like to work for? What you like as a boss?
I'm fair. Firm but fair.
This sounds like it's a job interview again, doesn't it?
No, sorry.
I think next week, if we want, and I know you've invited a few people to kind of join us tonight. If we've got anybody who works with Claire, quickly, we would like to know what she like as a boss. But if it's full of honest opinion, too much, then I will not put your comment online. But there we go. But we sure she's firm but fair, which means in posh speak and kind of thing is you don't mess with her, right? So we've established that already. Okay, all right. Do your job. Keep your head down. Otherwise, Queen of Hearts might come out. That's what I'm interpreting that to be. All right. Paul, what do you do?
So I'm a qualified chef, but I currently work for Sbarro, which is like a new upcoming like pizza company in UK, like the massive in America.
Yeah.
But I've only been working there we've been open 3 months.
Right.
I've been working there for the last 3 months.
Right, cool. Just a little bit of love there on screen for Claire there. I don't know, Sally, you're obviously a big fan of Claire there. So does Sally work with you?
Paul's cousin.
Paul's cousin.
Yeah, my cousin.
Oh well, they're related. That doesn't count. Then we want some, colleagues. All right, it does count. All right. Well, I'll just put it on screen again, just so you can feel a bit more loved and affirmed on there. That's good. All right. So, Paul, you're a chef. Love that. All right. Obviously, if you've ever seen me in real life, you can soon tell that food is one of my favourite hobbies. And so, any particular kind of chef? What's your speciality? What we want to know is actually, no, hang on. If you're a qualified chef, what we want to know is what was the first meal that you wanted to impress our wonderful Claire here? What did you prepare for her to kind of, so she would be wooed, apart with your wit and charm and amazing t-shirts?
I'd already like wooed her with my wit and charm, so I didn't really need to.
Well, that's a given.
Do it on the food side.
All right, okay. So, in terms of the romance, we've already established that, we need some advice on that. So, particularly for you. So if you're trying to, just do a really nice meal, what would you go for?
I'd go, if I had to make Claire meal, I know what I'd make her.
What? Go on,
I'd make her lasagna and sticky toffee pudding. Mm-hmm. Two main choices, isn't it?
Yeah.
Wow, in the same dish, that's a bit avant-garde, isn't it, as a chef? That would obviously take a sensation, but, there we go. All right, well, a lot of us, obviously, we're kind of speculating already what you're going to put on there. So, Alan obviously knows you well because you're even better in the reels word. Obviously, he's a beans on toast kind of guy then, clearly. And, obviously, you're a little bit more sophisticated on that. Lasagna's a good choice. Actually, I must admit, my good lady wife, Jackie, she makes an amazing lasagna. And that's why I married her. Because actually I don't fancy it, but no, that's not true. Okay. So you're Paul's a chef. Claire's Attila the Hun manager, kind of Cruella de Vil by the sounds of things. Firm but fair, sorry, that's what you said, wasn't it? And we're still waiting for some colleagues to come on and leave comments. We look forward to maybe if they see this in the rerun, you kind of, stream it at some other point. So, all right. How long have you known each other then? Just this sounds like Mr. and Mrs., doesn't it? The old kind of TV show. Go and pop some headphones on, Paul. Okay. We'll ask you Claire some questions that she already knows.
It's just over 8.5 years.
Right. Okay.
We've been together 8.5 years now.
Yeah. How did you meet?
Been married for
through my best friend. She knew Paul when they were younger, so they grew up a bit together, didn't they?
Yeah.
Then he found out I was living with her because me and my friend had posted it on Facebook.
Was it love at first sight then? Can we establish? Is it love now? I've just obviously that facial expression. It is good. All right, okay. You're just loving for his lasagna, right? Okay. No, more than he's more than a lasagna. That's what we want on a new T-shirt, actually, for next time. I'm more than a lasagna. That's what we want. I think there's a whole clothing line coming on there. Cool, right? Okay,
let me tell you, Dave. This will prove my romance. So I went to Rome, and Claire had no idea, but I proposed in Rome by a Colosseum.
I think that actually deserves a round of applause, everybody, because obviously I think that's going Champions League worth. That's almost. No, I wouldn't say it's European Super League because that doesn't go too well.
She goes. Oh, she also went. Oh, we better not tell anyone until I've told my parents. I'd already been to your parents, hadn't I? I'd already done the traditional thing of asking your dad.
Oh, I love it. I love that. That's important for me. Yeah, that's important. You've got to go and ask the future father-in-law. Well, hopefully, if he says yes.
I was terrified.
Yeah, I can relate to that, mate. I was with. I wasn't with you. I mean, I'm with you, as in I can relate to that experience. I wasn't actually with you.
He'd used my phone to get my dad's number. Right. Not me when I was asleep.
Yeah.
Does he make a habit of going through your phone while you're asleep? Is that, there's been some issues there. Have we got some trust issues? Does he make a habit of going through your phone while you're asleep?
No, it doesn't. He did try to take off a ring. He did try and take my ring off my other finger, and I said if you had got it off, it would have been the wrong size anyway.
So, when you get an engagement ring, how do you know what size it is?
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, particularly. Yeah. Were you impressed then? You obviously were impressed enough, Claire, when to say yes. Did she think about it, Paul? Did she hesitate at all? But that's what we want to know.
An instant yes.
Oh, that's nice. That's nice. Let's just, if we can just, like Alan's doing now, just post a little bit of, kind of feel the love. We'll add that in there. Okay. Just, show our appreciation, our love. It's all, it's like, I've got a warm sensation in here. It could be heartburn, I'm not sure. All right, so we know you a little bit more. All right, we established what you do for a living, and those kind of things, and you actually like each other, even verging on love, and he is a bit of a romantic after all. Rome, Colosseum, not a bad place. I took Jackie to Richmond Castle, so that wasn't quite as grand, but we did go to the top of Richmond Castle, and like anything else, it was hilarious because I was waiting for it to be quiet, and nobody ever is up there. So I was expecting it to be quiet. But then it was like a coach load of people arrived at the same time as we got there. So I had to kind of bide my time and try and look at different views. Have you seen that view? Oh, that view. Those kind of things. I'm thinking, where they all? All right, I've just got to do it. Thankfully, she milked the occasion and said yes. So that was all right then. And here we are. Right. Okay. So let's get into what was life like before you got to those. Don't get all serious. You all kind of went into lecture mode there again, job interview mode. God, blimey. So what was life like before you got to that point of making a decision? Let's do the historical kind of bit, really. So did you, for example, did you do church with your families when you were younger, or and then? Did you do it in a later kind of experience? Like Alan talked to us about his story, and he was much later, where Tony was much younger and kind of thinking about God and stuff like that. So let's go with Claire first, because I'm a bit frightened of her now. She said she's a manager.
No, I am a friendly person. I am very positive.
We believe you.
And approachable.
Whatever you say, Mom.
It's not an interview.
No, I know. So I was brought up in a little place called Brignall, just outside Barnard Castle, in the church there of St Mary's, so it was Church of England. And because it was very small, and church services were like once a month. But so I remember going more Christmas and like harvest festivals and things like that. Now, when I went through primary school, I remember believing in God. But then as soon as I sort of hit secondary school, you start learning about Big Bang Theory. So that kind of made me question a few things. And going through school, when you do your RE and everything, you don't always cover everything because you're learning about different faiths and everything, which is fine. I found it really interesting. But, you still got questions. But I did get confirmed at the age of 13.
Confirmed? What does that mean? What confirmed? What does that mean?
Just
There's some churchy speak that we need to clarify.
Just sort of standing up and saying, I believe in.
It's a Church of England like classic thing, isn't it? I think they typically do that. So go on, carry on.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah.
Are you stopping at that point?
No. I don't know. You've lost my train of thought now.
Yeah, you're not quite run DMC, are you? There's, the kind of... Right, okay. We'll work on that. That's fine. That's all right. Okay. Paul, if you haven't learned already, stop interrupting. She's a manager.
Just believing in God. And, I would talk to God in prayer. But I sort of grew up still thinking I was fully Christian, really, because nothing had sort of been... But I didn't have any youth groups or anything because where I lived was literally the middle of nowhere. So then I went off to university, and I remember taking my Bible I'd got for my confirmation and tried to read it, but I just couldn't understand it. So I went through, and it wasn't till, so I still had questions, and then it wasn't really till I met Paul really then that once I met him, I started asking him questions. So then
maybe you should just stop there.
Oh, right, okay, I'll stop there.
So how old were you then, Claire? How old were you?
When I met Paul?
Yeah.
Oh, it was 2013. Yeah. 26? 27. Somewhere around there.
Yeah, 26 or 27.
Yeah, one of those, that'll do. That's all right. So you've very quickly gone through 26 or 27 years of your life there. So you were at school.
Yeah.
You said you believed in God.
Yeah.
And then, that's primary school, secondary school, which often is the case, I think, not always, but a lot of people, I know I can relate to this, and I said this in my story, that start to go a little bit wayward when we're teenagers. And you mentioned there about, particularly at school, learning about different... like the Big Bang Theory and evolution and all of that side of things, which might, again, kind of, I'd ask questions then, maybe kind of challenge a few things that you've almost taken for granted, and that's fine. We obviously we're given a brain, we should use it absolutely. Again, I know that Alan also referred to having a lot of questions himself in his story, and then. Yeah, so this confirmed thing, was it 15, 16, did you say? Was it?
I was 13.
13, all right, okay. So 13, and confirmed is where you stand up in the Church of England and you say, yeah, I'm a Christian.
Yeah.
I believe in Jesus and all of that. Yeah, okay, right.
Yeah.
And then obviously that went at university, you talked about the Bible that you got on your confirmation, but you struggled to kind of just read it, open it and read it. Yeah?
Yeah.
Is that a fair kind of summary so far? Okay, then. So then it's when you met Paul. So let's jump across to Paul and just see. So what was your kind of upbringing? Did you do church since the womb? They kind of give birth and you were in church or something. Not you give birth. That would be awkward.
So yeah, like
miraculous.
From
actually,
a very young age, like from a very young age, I was like, I can remember like going to church on Sundays, obviously with my family. It was Church of England church, and like also like I was met like every, like it was quite a busy village, so it was like it was met every week, whereas yours didn't met like once every month or something. So yeah, going every week. I think as a kid, I think it's safe to say like I didn't really enjoy it.
Right.
Like I didn't really enjoy it. I just didn't really enjoy like the music and stuff like that. And I went because obviously my parents were going, and I had no choice. I like the Sunday school things, like where you got to like go and mess about, like colouring a Noah's Ark or something, and stuff like that, and just like do the kids stuff. But like in the main bit, I just didn't really like. So went through life probably in my teens, doing that. I also got confirmed as well about the same age. I was like 14 or something. Like where you get where like what you said, where you get up and say like I'm a Christian.
And do you get to wear like a special T-shirt or like get a tattoo at this point? Just say that kind of thing. You win a prize. Sounds a bit like a Bible or something when you get confirmed.
I can't. You said you got something. I can't remember getting anything from mine, to be honest. I don't think
no, I got it off a family member.
Yeah. Right. Okay. So we've established that Claire's church met only once a month, but yours was, more often. But Claire's family felt, care more for her because they got her a present, and you didn't get anything. All right. So we've established there's some family dynamics already. Okay.
Many years ago.
Many years ago. All right. Okay. I think if anybody, again, we want comments, please. So if anybody's willing to buy, Paul gifts, I'm sure he'll be open to that. Like old Bibles that you can't understand, something like that. Just something. I think he's lacking there. He's still got some issues, maybe. And at this point, Claire's looking a little bit smug because she got a Bible. Okay.
Anyway, I got to confirm point. Still went to church for a bit. Then my parents moved to a different area. Still sort of went to church in that area for a little bit. I still felt the same. Like even in my teens, I didn't really enjoy it that much. Sort of went because my parents went. And then my parents, like when I was 16, 17, my parents split up. So then the church thing like all went on the back burner. Like obviously I moved in with like one of my parents, and like obviously we didn't really go. Like we just stopped going.
Yeah. Can I ask a question? Because
go on,
what I've noticed, not just obviously chatting with yourselves, but and something that I've noticed as well, and I would say is in my own story as well, is it seems like when people get to teenage kind of years, all right, when maybe they've had some God stuff in primary age and whatever, but when they get to teenagers, it seems like people or young people lose a bit of interest. You know, like you said that both you said you didn't really float your boat, that kind of stuff. Paul, you said you didn't really like it. Why do you think that is? Why, it's a big question, so I don't expect you to have all the answers. But what's it, in your opinion? What do you think it is? What is it about church at that point for teenagers that's lacking?
Maybe this might sound harsh, but like I don't know if it was probably age, but I think it was also the type of church. Okay. So like there was like an organ playing, and there was hymns from like years ago, which was like high notes and stuff like that. As a teenager, I found that quite difficult.
Yeah,
that makes sense.
Yeah. So it wasn't. It wasn't. I often say I talk about flavors of churches, and I mentioned it earlier as well when we started. It wasn't really keeping your interest attractive to you in terms of that you didn't really relate to, and correct me if I'm wrong, the kind of the organ and the big high notes in the songs that were being sung and stuff like that. Is that fair?
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
Claire, what about you? What do you think?
Yeah, and I think because it depends on your group of friends as well, I suppose. Not all of mine sort of believed, and you kind of then sort of doubt yourself a little bit, and they don't see it like, I don't know, it's cool or...
Yeah, it is tough, isn't it? It is really tough to kind of do the church thing, particularly if your friends, when your teenagers, maybe don't do that and they're out in other places, and it is really, it's really challenging.
I think it was a case you didn't really want to tell your friends either, because like if you didn't really like it, you're not going to invite them along. Yeah. They're also not going to like it.
Yeah. So I suppose it's kind of the challenges for churches is to obviously keep young people active in the church, but maybe having to revise and look at how they're presenting the church thing and the activities around there. So. And it is challenged, like you said. Though, I think Claire, you mentioned there wasn't really much of a youth group, in your church when you were younger, and that's why I've been really thankful for times when I've been at quite a big church, when there was a youth group. So actually, my friends, I had lots of friends in there, but I had those friends as well who didn't believe and in Jesus and did the church thing and stuff like that as well. So it's a real tough, isn't it? It's a tough time. And I think I'm so thankful we've got organisations like Youth for Christ and Scripture Union and many others that do great work for, aimed at young people, teenagers in particular. And it's such a vital work, isn't it? Because actually, again, there's lots of teenagers, it seems, not all, okay, will leave the church at that point because it's not really hitting the spot for them, really, for whatever reason that is. Hannah Jackson was telling her story the other week as well, and she, it was amazing to hear how she was so bold and kept going, and again, I can relate what you said, Paul. To I didn't really want to tell my friends about church and stuff like that because I didn't think it was all that good at that point. Different now, okay. All right, yeah. So where did you get to after that then? So what are teenage years? Kind of school.
Going through school. Like when I was at school, like I was like really small height wise, and like I just got like picked on. So like a lot of my only praying was about like those sort of situations.
Yeah,
if that makes sense. Yeah. So like I would like Claire, like I always, because I was just brought up that way. Like I always believed there was like a God. I never like doubted that. But like I say, like the only through school was mainly praying about like situations and stuff like that would arise and stuff like that. I had a bit of a difficult time at school just because like you're small in height and people think we can have a go down there because you're like they're younger than you and you're older, so they have a little pop and things like that. So that was the kind of and then nothing really happened. And after that, nothing really happened until sort of my mid-20s then.
So did you know each other at this point then? Is this the point where you can't?
No. Yeah.
So what happened then in your mid-20s then, Paul? And then we'll get to the point where you actually met.
Yeah, okay, yeah. So I went through. It was a bit mad. So I'd moved out and I was living with friends at this. I was living with friends at this point, and at a certain time I thought I'd broke my ankle, but I'd actually sprained it. But like, the hospital told me it was broken. It put in a cast, and I was off work. And I was just thinking, like, while I was off work, like, and I think it was over like a 4 week period. So like I broke my ankle, and I was thinking about going to the local like Church of England church right near where I lived. It was literally like over the road, so I could hobble over there. And I was thinking like I was just thinking about things, and then like I think it was like a Muslim guy on TV, and he was saying something about what he does for his religion and what he gives up and stuff like that. And like I was thinking, I don't give anything up, and I don't even really like I'm not even really sure what I'm like. I know I believe in God. Like I'm not sure what I believe. Do you know what I mean? I'm not sure like the ins and outs of Christianity. Like people say, "Are you Christian?" I go, "Yeah," but like I don't really know what that means. I think there's just a few things going on at this point, and I went to this church, and I went. It was all right. I mean, it was an adult. It was the same sort of style. It was okay. I wouldn't say like I didn't enjoy it, but like I went more because like I felt that I needed to go rather than. Do you know what I mean? Like before I just go with my parents, like there was a choice at this point, and I just thought, you know what, I'll just go.
Yeah.
And see what it's about. So I was doing that, and then like still in this like 4 week period where like I was off work and stuff like with a dodgy ankle, and I just thought, you know what, like there must be like I went on live and I was just like looking like for stuff that might be on in Darlington, stuff like that. Like I'd heard of like something called an alpha course, so like I was googling that, and like as I was like, I googled it and I found that there was an alpha course on like starting that night,
right,
at a church, like just around the corner. So like I thought I'll just go to like it said like bookings are now closed, whatever, because it was like the same night. But it said like just turn up, like you're more than welcome just to turn up. So I did turn up.
So what's an alpha course, Paul? What's an alpha
Yeah,
course?
I knew you were going to ask that. So an alpha course, we were just talking about before, weren't we? So like, it's the best way to explain it. So it's like loads of churches do it, like all over the country. Probably worldwide as well. Like Church of England do it, and other different like flavors of churches do it too. It's kind of the heading is what is the meaning of life, and it's basically like an introduction. It's a course sort of based around the Christian faith. I would say so. Like important questions like who is Jesus and like did Jesus really exist, etc. Things like that. So like a church-based course, like based on Christianity.
So what was that
and
like? What was that like? You know, you sit there for 2 hours writing notes as somebody talks at you. It's like a lecture. Is that what it's like?
No. So you go in and then they put like the place I went to. They put food on first. It was just like a relaxed, chai atmosphere, and there was no like God talk over the. I'm laughing because I'll come to a bit in a minute, but there's no like God talk over the dinner bit really. And then someone will tell their testimony like 5 minutes, like what we're doing, but like a quick fire version of it. And then there'll be like a talk on the topic,
right,
like that night. So so yeah, that's what the alpha course is. So I turned up to this alpha course on my own. Like I was like so nervous. It was like just horrendous. Like walking in the building, and like no one greeted me or anything when I walked in. Just literally walk in, and then it was like all like dinners like served at the front or whatever. So like I went up, and I was like the last person up, and like I just went and plunked down on my own. I was happy sitting on my own. And then one of the leaders like came over and he's like, "Oh, who you come with?" I was like, "Nobody." So he's like, "Oh, I'll sit with you." And he invited some of the people over. This is like what I was laughing before. So these two people came, and they were I don't think they weren't like guests on the alpha course. They were like people who helped run the alpha course, but they were just there that night to do like a specific. I think the guy was doing a specific talk that night, and then I mean we've helped on alpha, and this is like breaking the rules massively. What this guy asked me, so it's meant to be like talk over dinner, no God stuff. Leave that for because so you go to discussion groups at the end of the main chat, and that's the discussion groups where you ask questions and things like that. And this guy, after my name, he asked me 3 questions, which I'll never forget. He was like, he said, he said, do you own a Bible? And I said, yeah, I think I've got one, like at home somewhere. And he said, what did he say? You got a Bible? Oh yeah, that's it. He said, have you got a Bible? Are you a Christian? And I said, I think so. And he said, do you know Jesus? And I thought this guy's like obviously crackers in me, like how do you know Jesus? Like
Right.
I think I just went, oh, like I think I know of him. He just went, oh yeah, great. And I thought, oh, that's great. And this guy's absolutely loopy. Like, what have I let myself in for here? But like, yeah, like crazy. Like, I thought it was a mental question at the time. And then obviously, like as I obviously I signed up for the LiVE course that night and I continued on it. Yeah, it was just like great. Like affirmed loads of things that I already knew. Like give me the evidence for like why I believe now. Like, I mean, like some like the evidence that they show and things that I've looked at myself as well. Like there's no doubt in my mind. And I think that was probably like the pivotal point where like I decided like I'm definitely a Christian.
Right.
Like God definitely exists. Like I'm definitely Christian. Like definitely like follow Jesus type thing. Like from that point, so like completing the whole Alpha course. Like at the end of that Alpha course, like there was no doubt in my mind. That like I was a Christian and that like God existed and stuff.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, it was, obviously there's a couple of people here. Just kind of put a few things on screen. So Mike Connolly always good man like myself. Always a good excuse for a nosh up as well. So anything that has free food, yeah, I think that's a good motivational factor for me and many others as well. And Margaret is obviously a bit more of a social person because she says it's great to meet new people. Well, you can keep the new people. I just eat the food. And so no, it's good to meet new people. But I'm impressed actually. I must admit, Paul, I do admire you because you obviously had something like questions, like an itch that needed scratching. That so much so that you were willing to go into a strange place, not knowing anybody, to an Alpha course, which like you say, is very food orientated, social, kind of a bit of a talk on a theme. Number of sessions, and you must have liked it because you signed up for all of them. You keep going back, you said there, and so on.
Yeah, I did. Yeah,
and then maybe encountering some loopy people who ask you kind of certain questions, but you said it confirmed a lot of what you knew, what you thought, and out of all of that, you had clearly an experience where you said, right, yeah, I know for definite. You said definitely God is real, Jesus is real. I know I can have that relationship with him. So is that was the point for you then when you, I suppose, even though you were confirmed earlier age, 13, about the same age, and all of that kind of stuff, you'd done the church thing, you kept on going almost out of habit in some ways, but still had a bit of, eventually an itch that needed scratching, and you did something about it, and eventually you made a decision. Yeah, that's great. Yeah, that's great.
Right, yeah.
Claire, you sat there really patiently. Let obviously Paul talk forever, it seemed. No. Okay. I'm just looking at Alan. I'm glad Alan's asking questions. Alan's a bit of a superstar here because he's asked us this question. Let's jump in with this one. So, Paul, what was your biggest question then on the Alpha course? Did you ask some questions? Because that's what you're encouraged to do, isn't it? In an Alpha course,
you are. But like, I wasn't a massive like question like asker because most of the questions I had were like. I know this sounds like a cop out, but like most of the questions I had were covered in the talks,
right?
Because obviously there's designed around the topics and stuff.
Yeah.
So, like how do we know Jesus was resurrected? Then, like, what's the proof for that? And then, like in the Alpha course, they show you the proof for that, and like historical documents and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
To like back all that up. If that.
And so in that course, let me just clarify because obviously Alan, let's put Alan's question back on there. Did you wear kind of grass skirts and like flowers around in a big because it was a aloha course? So was that the same kind of thing? Did you play the ukulele afterwards? I think you look lovely in a grass skirt. I have to say, he did correct himself by the way, and just to be fair, obviously put Alpha on there. All right, okay. So Alpha course made a commitment, made a decision. Jesus is real. I'm going to have a relationship with Jesus, because you said, how can I know him? But you were convinced you can do that from what was said in the talks and stuff like that. Claire, let's jump across to you then. Go on.
What are you going to say something?
I was going to say something, but
go on. You can.
So yeah. So what that guy said at the beginning, like what sounded mental, and it might sound mental to some people listening, but like I got exactly what he meant at the end of the Alpha course.
Okay.
Like I knew that you could know him and stuff like that. So like his question was mental at the beginning, and then obviously by the end it made sense to me.
Yeah, and it'll become real enough for you to say, "Yeah, I'm convinced." You know that all of this is real, and so on. So okay. Is it all right if Claire talks now, Paul? Just because, you know...
Yeah.
All right, okay, just checking, mate. That's all right. This is your opportunity, Claire. Go on in.
So yeah, I was 26 because we were 27 once we got together. So then when I met Paul, before we started going out, we were talking. Did you want to explain a bit?
If you want me to explain,
I'll
get into
no, it's all right. Go for it. Go for it.
Paul, did you know that Claire's a manager and she's used to telling people what to do? Did you realise that? She's firm but fair, she said. All right? So it's obviously, she's just delegated. That's delegation, folks. In action. Thank you. All right, so Paul, you may speak.
So when we started going out, I went to church and I was thinking, like how am I going to tell Claire that I go to church? Like she's going to think like I'm a weirdo and stuff. Like how am I going to break that question? But like it wasn't until like later on, well, you were thinking the same thing, weren't you? So she was saying like I go to church. How am I going to tell him that I go to church? And it was like so then when we sort of brought it up, it was like so do I. Like
the big reveal moment.
So
who cracked first? What was happening? Where were you? Come on, people. We want to know this. Where were you? And who brought it up first? Come on, the big reveal moment.
I think it was in your house with Laura, like where you lived with Laura, wasn't it? And
yeah,
it was in that house, and I think I brought it up.
Yeah.
All right. So you were brave. You were man enough. You were brave enough there to kind of say, right, okay. How did you feel about doing that? Were you dead nervous?
Yeah, I was dead nervous. I thought she was going to say things like weed and stuff. So I put it off for ages.
Yeah.
And I was going, I don't know if I should tell her and stuff.
All right.
Then you were thinking similar things, weren't you? Like, I go, but like, I don't know if I should tell him.
Yeah.
All right, great. So we had the big reveal moment, right? And then, I've got to put this on the screen clearly because Philip showed me the love. There we go. A dafter, I think, would be even better. You know. So thanks Philip for that. But actually, again, more importantly, Alan's at it again, posting things not about Hawaii and Hawaiian theme, but obviously it was God's plan to bring you two together. So okay, you had the big reveal moment. Then what happened for you then, Claire?
So then he invited me to church. So I was a bit like, oh, this is like, because after he'd explained where he went and everything.
So this is a different church. I went to a church that did the Alpha course.
Paul,
it's obviously
Paul, it's Claire's turn, mate.
So yeah,
we need to make you go and sit on the naughty step in another room. Come on.
So I was a bit like nervous about going in, but I came out and I thought, oh my goodness, this is just so much more. Not sounding interested, and I was just so. And when the music started, I was just like, oh, like nothing completely different to like the hymns and everything I'd heard before, and absolutely thoroughly enjoyed it. And then I started asking Paul questions. Can't quite remember what I'd asked him at the time, but then he suggested an Alpha course, so I then went on the next one. But I was a bit like Paul, really. I didn't really ask questions. My answers came through the talks.
Yeah.
And I just listened to everybody else and everyone else's opinions, and then.
Yeah, and I think people are different, aren't they? People are wired in different ways, aren't they? And I must admit, I know I talk a lot on Gobby, but do you know what? I like to listen to what other people's opinions are in a meeting and those kind of in a group. So actually, I very rarely do I jump in with a question straight away. I know you might find that hard to believe, but I'd like to hear what other people have got to say and then weigh things up for myself, really. So I can relate to that certainly.
But it was definitely the Alpha course that I would definitely say I became a Christian. I thought I was a Christian, and just by sort of talking to God and praying and going to church all the time, I thought I was, but it wasn't until I'd gone through the Alpha course and it all made sense. It all just sort of came together, and I thought, that's it. Like, I know now. And a few years later, I got baptized.
Right. It's very similar. Right, we'll come back to baptized because that sounds interesting. Very similar kind of story then, you're both saying then, in terms of your walk, that you'd done the church thing in a particular kind of flavour of a church, which for you two personally, particularly over teenage years, didn't really hit the spot, but still had something in you that you still wanted to attend church kind of quite regularly, but still had that, well, I'm a Christian, but am I, kind of question, is there more to this? And so through, the Alpha course, and again, just to say, if you're tuning into this and you're not sure, Paul's explain what the Alpha course is. Lots of churches do them. They're absolutely brilliant. Yes, there's food involved, which is always good. But just to say that Embrace Church, we do Alpha courses. We've actually done them online as well. And we plan to do more so when we're able to do so, or, obviously physically meeting when we, restrictions allow and so on, we can do that safely. But, if you want to, if you are tuning in, again, you can go onto the Facebook page or our YouTube channel and look at each of those Alpha sessions that we've recorded. And they just pose questions. And please, that's the whole thing. Obviously, ask your questions. Now, if you want to get in touch, if you want to, us to get in touch with you, then just give us your contact details and we'll happily do that either, safely face-to-face or via, a Zoom call or whatever, video chat or whatever works best. But we'd love to hear from you. And we really want to encourage people, if you've got questions, because that's what it's about in Alpha, and it's the big question, what's the meaning of life? Then, please get online, and, all of the Alpha materials are online anyway, aren't they? So, okay. So you both, let's just say you have shares in Alpha Cause, is that right? Because you seem to be promoting that quite a lot, which is good. All right. So it's made a big difference for both of you in your lives. You both came out of an Alpha Cause saying, I know this is real. God is real. Jesus is real. So you both made a commitment in there. Right. We've got about, 6 minutes, technically. All right. But I'm enjoying this too much. Just, we might go a little bit after. We'll see. But, so you both made a decision then to become a Christian, to say, right, I'm going to dedicate my life to following Jesus. I believe the Bible is true. God is who he, or Jesus existed. There's evidence for that, if nothing else, and all of that. And so what's life been like since? Okay, because you're together at this point, and you had the big reveal evening and Alpha courses and things like that. What's life been like since? Great, thanks for your time. Obviously, no big response there. I think we've run out of time. No, go.
No, so we've got married. We both got involved with youth groups.
We did a lot of church stuff. We got involved in a lot of church stuff.
Helping serve on the Alpha courses. So we've done a few of those.
I was actually serving on the Alpha course that you.
Oh yes, he was.
Came to. Yeah.
Oh, I see. Did you give it extra portions of the food? Because being a chef. There you go, sweetheart. Have an extra potato.
Before, I was
asked, romantic you.
When you said before, I asked some questions. You asked me about 1 million questions. It's easy to direct to the Alpha course, isn't it? That's where you'll get your answers.
Yeah. All right. Okay, that's good. We should have questions. We should ask them. We've got a brain. Let's use them. Yeah, absolutely.
Well, I guess if you didn't ask him, then it wouldn't have gone down the Alpha path, would it? And you might not have even gone on one.
No.
Yeah. So obviously, life hasn't been perfect since. Obviously, life. Once you become a Christian, it doesn't get all nice and cuddly, and Jesus solves everything for us, and we just go through life living the dream and things like that. It's not like that at all, is it? Really? So, what about then? And I'm going to just kind of assume, really, because you both look like you're humans, and so life has its ups and downs. You just got to ride it, as the song says, the old roller coaster. What what's been important for you then in terms of your, faith in Jesus, being a Christian, in terms of, let's just say when we've got the real highs, when life's going good, and then what about those lows as well, which, obviously in difficult circumstances, and, again, you don't need to go into details about those, but because I'm assuming that you've had some good times and then some challenging times, individually, together, whatever it may be, because that's life, isn't it?
Yeah.
I think for me it's just like in both. Like I think for me it's easier to go to God in the bad times, but like I think it's like remember to go to him in the good times as well. Like when things are going like really well.
Yeah.
I think that's like good to be thankful for and stuff like that, as well as obviously go to God when things are getting challenging and tough, when you're going through like the middle of it. That's kind of how I sort of get through. That's how I.
Yeah, because you mentioned that as well, didn't you, Paul? When you were at school, and you mentioned you experiencing bullying and things like that, and which is obviously traumatic kind of experience, really is. And but you mentioned then about praying to God about that situation and things like that. So going to God in those times of need, but like I agree, challenging ourselves to say, well, okay, even in the good times when things are going all right, it seems we're on that kind of hilltop experience, not like the Sound of Music or whatever, but just kind of thanking God for the good times and the good stuff that happens as well. Yeah. Claire, what about you? What about how's kind of your faith helped you with life and whatever life has kind of looked like in the journey and ups and downs and stuff?
Yeah, I think now that I know sort of more about the Bible and I know where to go a bit more, and again, yeah, praying. I find more time. I find, to be honest, my prayer time's really in the car when I'm driving to work. That's always a good time for me. Cause, I was trying to find, it's making the time throughout the day, really. Just like so it's a bit more constant for me.
Yeah.
I've got like a little app on my phone where like you get a verse of the day, so that helps me a lot as well. Puts me at ease.
Yeah, it's difficult, isn't it? Obviously, busy days, and clearly, I know I've made a few small remarks about you being a manager, but obviously that's a job with a lot of responsibility, and jobs obviously don't just stop in their advertised hours. It's outside of, so it's really difficult. Whether you've got a job or not, actually, if you've got demands of family and everything else, it just seems that time is precious. So it's really a good thing to kind of carve out those times when you can, however you do that, whether it be an app on your phone, like you say, or in the car praying. I must admit, I like the same thing. I like the quiet because I live in a busy household and have got a demanding job as well. So that quiet of journey to work and back again is precious. And so there's different ways to be able to kind of, and opportunities, just trying to find time to connect with God through prayer and listen to maybe some worship music, because you mentioned, Claire, about how the music at the church when you first went there with Paul was like, wow, actually I like this, and it was very different to maybe the experience that you've had before and stuff. So, even to the point where I made a comment earlier on, I'm just going to put this on by Philip, who's clearly making a request. So we will, we could even finish this episode tonight because it is 9:00 now. We could finish this actually with you two giving us a rendition of The Hills Are Alive. If you're up for that, I can maybe find the backing track.
Considering I don't know what The Hills Are Alive are, then that wouldn't work, would it?
That's shocking. That
really
is. Are you telling me that you are, however old you are, and you've never seen The Sound of Music at all?
That's correct.
I used to drive.
Why would I want to watch that? I know,
because it's on every Christmas at least once. So I can't believe you got through all these years escaping it. You, Japanese so. Okay. Claire, do you know The Sound of Music?
Yeah, I used to drive my granddad mad because when we used to go up on a weekend, it used to be one of the films I took up with me.
Okay, well, there we go. So I think that...
I'm not singing.
Right, no. We'll let you off with the singing kind of thing, and that's fine. But what we do want I want you two to commit to this. We want you two to plan a romantic evening where he makes you lasagna and sticky toffee pudding, and you sit and you watch The Sound of Music together. And at some point, we want you back on so we can question you in detail about the storyline of The Sound of Music. Okay? And actually, to be honest, what's great about that, your background actually would make... that they would make a lovely outfit for both of you. So, actually, just a little bit of a link to the film there. And if you could come on and actually just practice Edelweiss, that would be lovely. And I mean, people are going mad now with the comments. Yeah, we're all for actually there. The Paul and Claire date night. Paul, you're not alone. There's sadly Alan Fraser has never seen The Sound of Music. I mean, we're not even going to start mentioning people who haven't even seen Star Wars. I mean, that's just wrong. And I think maybe Fraser's one of them. And Sue's never seen it as well. So actually, when you have your date night, when you arrange that, could you let everybody at Embrace Church know when it is? Because actually, as we want to have a safe gathering in your garden or whatever together, and we shall have a public viewing of The Sound of Music with plenty of lasagna and sticky toffee pudding, just to experience the delights of that, really. So that would be an official Embrace Church social evening / date night for you two. And we may even put that as a public event. Yeah. Maybe put a public event on Facebook that would do something like that. Philip's genius. We could even do it. Never mind, gathering, but we could even do a Zoom date night. We could have a shared viewing. The only problem is that do you do delivery of the lasagna and sticky toffee pudding? Because that's the requirement of it, really. So that's the drawback to that one. Okay. So what's important is, yes, most importantly is getting to know Jesus and making a decision yourself. And we've heard your story on that one. You've talked about the power of prayer, both in bullying, experiences when you're younger and the difficulties there. And, when life is challenging. But we also want to, pray for Alan in particular, like I say, who's said he's never seen Star Wars. And there's other people as well. So we also need to lift these people up in prayer. And, so that's obviously clearly another social that we'll have at Embrace Church. Sound of Music first, and then obviously the Star Wars, movies, not particularly the first three. I'm not too bothered about them. But there we go. And I like that idea of the Zoom date night. Yeah, we could have like a fly on the wall kind of thing. You just have a webcam and we could just watch you two. That sounds a bit weird. And we could then score it like Alan suggests, like come dine with me. We could do that kind of thing. And as long as you obviously when you're cooking and stuff like that, Uber Eats. I think that's a great suggestion. Okay, this is a really quality show, this, isn't it? Listen, it's on a serious note, it's been lovely to kind of to spend time with you and get to know you a little bit more, and to kind of see a little bit more of your who you are, your characters, your personality. Now, it's a little bit difficult. We are looking forward to meeting you in person when we can, rather than on a screen. But certainly from an Embrace Church point of view, we're really pleased that you're part of the church, and it's great to have you with us. And obviously looking forward to doing so much more, because you sound like a couple of people who like to get up and get stuff done, serving on alpha courses and youth groups and whatever. And so, but you shied away from the singing opportunity there. So maybe I'm just guessing that you're not really up for the worship team at this point. No. I mean, like I say, we do have very low standards and fail to maintain them. So we do accept anybody. So, we could train you up with actually the ukulele for those Aloha courses that you've publicised so much that Alan wants to go to. There's always room for a ukulele in the worship team, so we could do that. Okay.
What about recorder?
No, they're demonic.
I said that on purpose.
No, sorry. All I've got now is just flashback memories to my sister playing "London's Burning" badly, and it's just horrible. Okay. The recorder's a lovely instrument when it's played well, and I do know that you need to go through the bad phases to be able to play it well. But if you could just go and do the bad phases somewhere else and come back an amazing musician on the recorder, then that's all right. Alan, actually, Philip is suggesting maybe you could do this. You know, as a chef, maybe you've got a bit of a, bit of a temper on you and things like that. You're good at hitting things. If you're like, obviously see these programs on television, the chefs and things are all kind of a bit temperamental, that kind of stuff. Hopefully not with the language. We don't tend to encourage that in church very often. Okay. Very often. That doesn't mean to say that it does happen. But there we go. Not in my talks. There we go. Hopefully. So, listen, it has been great. I just want to kind of thank you both again on a serious note for giving up your time tonight. And hopefully you've enjoyed it. I haven't been too insulting and things like that. Your faces look like you've had a really good time. Thanks very much. Okay.
It's been good.
That's the one I was thinking of, actually. There we go. Philip said it. Gordon Ramsay. Paul, you're not like a Gordon Ramsay, are you?
Not at home, he's not anyway.
No.
Well, he's not allowed to, is he? Because you don't let him. Because you obviously, you can only do what you say. Firm but fair, absolutely. So, there's another T-shirt for you, isn't it? That's what you could wear. Firm but fair. There we go. So we want to see those. And Paul's, I'm all about the lasagna and sticky pudding or whatever. Those kind of things. Okay. So just let me just again thank you, and I've done that about 5 times now, but I am very happy that you've joined us tonight. It's been great. I've had a lot of fun at your expense mainly, but and then what I want to do is I just want to show people, just again, I've mentioned the Facebook page. We'd love you to get in touch with us. Just drop us a comment, send us a private message, wherever. We'd love to connect with you in whatever way. Obviously in terms of our website, I'm just going to jump to here. And just to kind of say, obviously head over to our website. You can find out a lot more about Embrace Church and who we are and the flavour of church that we are. And we do believe that the Bible is true. God is true. Jesus is, who he says he is, Son of God. He died on the cross for us all. And again, we are absolutely living in a relationship with Jesus. It's a relationship, not religion. And so, that's so important to us, and again, you can head over to the Facebook page. If you just kind of caught this live streams, without accessing the page directly, you can see there. We have got our YouTube channel. I tend to update and upload these, kind of episodes the following day onto YouTube. So just give us a bit of time to do that. You can follow us on Twitter if you want to, and all of those things. So please get in touch with us. And it's great. So let me just head back to just these two again and just say thank you one last time. Has it been fun, really? Has it been all right?
Yeah, it's been good. Yeah, really good.
Okay. There wasn't much of a delay there, so that's all right. That looked pretty convincing. And you are kind of smiling and stuff. Okay, so remember, date night, live stream date night, Sound of Music first, then Star Wars, and lashings of lasagna with sticky toffee pudding in the same dish, because that's what you said in when you first started. There you go. That's an interesting concoction, but there we go. Okay, bless you, everyone. We'll see you next week, Wednesday 8. Come on, England, and let's do well in the Euros and all those kind of. You got to get it in there somewhere, and up the borough as well. All right, take care, folks. Thank you.